In this session, we will discuss about the configure DNS services. Means how to configure this DNS services on the DNS server. How you can configure. Let's talk about more. So what need to do in a configuration? In a configuration, first you should know there is a service which is using the port number 53 for the query and the response, and TCP port number 53 for the zone transfer. So what are the zones? Zones actually having the multiple types of the properties like types or category. First is a primary zone, secondary zone, cache only, and authoritative zones. Authoritative zones is a type of the zone which is holding the record of all the query. For the example, I am using the cyberpratibha.com. This is my website, okay, cyberpratibha.com. So I bought this domain on the Big Rock, from the Big Rock. So the Big Rock is a authoritative domain. If I bought from the GoDaddy, so GoDaddy organization will be the authoritative record. Means the authorized organization which having my record. Means IP and name. Everything name and the IP is managed by the Big Rock as well. So there is some other zones. If the primary zone here, secondary zone, and the cache only zone. Cache only zone is the type of the zone which is actually only store the cache memory inside your system or any other servers like local DNS or the other DNS service. There is a two zones also exist in a primary zones and the secondary zones. So primary zones and secondary zones are like primary zones having all the information related to your domain name, and secondary zones available when primary zone is not available, then the secondary zone will reply your request. Right, similar is a DNS caching. DNS caching also used for the time to live. There is a specific time to live the DNS caching. If you want to check your DNS memory, so you can simply open the CMD, and inside CMD you can run the IP config / display DNS, and you can see there is a cache memory which is having the record here like share, Camtasia Studio, array.pro, microsoft.com, and so these records are available. Right, so these records are available in a DNS cache memory. Okay, so here two types of the cache memory exist. One is called a DNS cache memory on the client. So I have shown you this memory is exist on the client, but there is a also DNS server. DNS server like my DNS server 192.168.0.1 means my router. Router is a first DNS server. Second is a router of the ISP. This is the another DNS server which is having the cache memory. If I request any new website and the new website does not exist on my local DNS server or in the cache of my local router, then it will be forwarded to the ISP DNS server or the ISP router which having the cache stored of this website. If yes, then good. If not yes, then this request will be forwarded to the DNS server of the Google 8.8.8. So this is type of the server configuration will be done. There is a two types of the server. One is a internal DNS, another is a external. So in a internal DNS zone, there is a internal information, means this internal DNS server having the only internal record. Internal record means there is a inside the organization there is a mail server, inside the organization there is a web server, inside the organization there is a FTP server. So all these having some records, and also there is a multiple like FQDN exists, fully qualified domain name inside the one organization. So all these are records are exist inside on the internal DNS zone. So name records for the private servers and services only available for the internal clients. Block any type of the request coming from the internet. So means this internal DNS zone does not exist on a internet, but there is some external zones also available. Like same, if the email is exist for the internal purpose only, so it will be considered a internal DNS zone. If it is available for the publicly, so it is called external DNS zone. Public services like website or the email, FTP and much more. Hosted on the internet accessible name server. You will have to host your website, your web server or something, emails, FTP on any internet accessible web server, because this is the external DNS zone. So here is a forwarding, the request is forwarding from one zone to another zone or one server to another server, and some are on the based on the conditional DNS zone. But now the question is how you can find out the record of the NS lookup. So yes, of course you can use the your here. This is actually used for the lookup your zone. So here is simply you need to run the command is ns lookup. So ns lookup, the DNS zone, the domain name server is 8.8.8. Means by default, if I will look for the any name server, it will reply from the 8.8.8. So if I want to look the for here, like I am pressing the Control C and ns lookup hyphen type is equal to mx. Mx means mail server and CompTIA.org. So it will provide you the record of the mail server. So mail record is CompTIA.org.mail.protection.outlook.com. This is the mail exchange server. Similar, if you want to check for the Cyber Pratibha, so you can check here cyberpratibha.com, and this is the mail server is DCMX, and this cyberpratibha.com. Okay, this is the TXT record which is displaying this information. Okay, leave it. So if you want to check any DNS server for the google.com or the for the microsoft.com, so you can get this record. And also you can check the for the name server, NS record means name server. So where is the name server? And on the Cyber Pratibha, if I want to check the name server, so where it is? The name server is Cloudflare name server I have used. And you can see there is a two name server. If one name server is failed, then another name server will work. And you can see Microsoft using the 4 name server 1, 2, 3, 4, 39, azure.dns.com, .net.org.in info. Similar, you can check the SOO record if any exists. So it will display you if you want to give the record A only. So you can get the information, the IP address of the target machine. So this is the IP address A record. If I want to check for the AAA, 4 time A means IPv6. So IPv6 is there. So these are the records are available. You can check these records by using the ns lookup command. So I hope it will be clear. And also there is some other commands can be used in a Linux. This is called actually dig. So dig command is used for getting the information any particular system. So of course I am using the VirtualBox and Kali Linux you have installed already. So you can use the Kali Linux to run these commands. So I hope you can do it. Can you do it by yourself? Yes.